which strategies, if any, have you seen successfully employed to account for the different impacts that today's industry, including market shifts, i.e. carbon to green, labor challenges driven by demographic shifts, and price volatility due to regulatory changes, supply chain challenges, holistic or targeted? So I guess the question is, are there anything specific things that we can relate to in our customers or in things that we've heard where people have successfully been able to react to these things? I think, Nate, you pointed to a little bit about that in the supply chain world. Some of the things I think where people are looking at in manufacturing is prefab and modular manufacturing, and seeing ways to stand up manufacturing units that can build out those modular aspects of a job site, and prefabrication to both reduce waste as well as to address worker and labor shortages. And then looking at the manufacturing sites themselves and thinking about their carbon footprint and how can they reduce the waste that they have as well. I don't know, Nate, if you have anything else to add.
Yeah, I mean, just a couple minor things. One of the things that's a hot topic everywhere is, again, the labor challenges. And one of the things that some organizations are starting to do differently is really think hard about the criteria that they've historically used to identify qualified individuals in certain roles. And these could be sort of manual labor roles, or roles where somebody's kind of sitting behind a desk. So I think we have seen some scenarios where individuals are using different means and different criteria as opposed to what they've used in the past. As an example, and this is really probably not as conducive for manual hands-on jobs, but the availability of talent has changed in a very massive way because of the pandemic. Whereas previously geography was a restrictive metric, now it's been opened up because we're more accessible and we're more connected to the rest of the world around us. So that in and of itself has really opened up the talent pool for a lot of organizations. And it's in some cases increased the speed of identifying top talent. So that's one example. So just at a broad level, I think it has been beneficial for organizations to think differently about what the qualifications are. From a simple perspective, there have been scenarios where a certain degree was necessary, or a certain specific level of experience. But when you think of how fast this new generations are learning and picking things up, again, partly because of technology, it's mitigated and sort of suppressed the need to have a very rigid kind of formal requirement, whether it's a certain degree and those types of things. So that's one example on the labor side, and just increasing the pool of talent. Yeah. And then again, I think also sort of at a somewhat broad level, when we talk about the market shifts, that's something it's not really going to change. The rate of change is accelerating. So it is going to make it challenging to continue to kind of keep up with the pace of change. But I think organizations who are being intentional about setting aside time to take a hard look at existing systems, processes, procedures, and even business models, and then kind of setting aside time to think about what's possible, that's helped organizations to take that first step to be prepared. So it starts kind of at a simple level of being intentional about asking very challenging, uncomfortable, provocative questions about how business is currently done, and most importantly, what the customer's true experience is like. That practice in and of itself has, I think, created a lot of interesting ideas for organizations, because when you really look closely and when you really truly put yourselves in the shoes of customers, you begin to realize that the true customer experience and the perception of it, there can be a little bit of a gap there. So organizations that have been diligent and kind of willing to endure the discomfort with going through that have come up with new and creative ways to add new value and to position themselves for some of these inevitable changes that often take place.
Yeah, we certainly talk a lot about the power of the voice of our customers and in everything that we do here. So Yeah, absolutely. Opening yourself up to, taking a fresh look at how are we structured today? How are we doing things today? And how might we do things differently? Some businesses are finding they've got exactly what they need in the people that they have today, and they just need to rethink about how they're deploying them and what they're having them focus on.